Hey guys, I'm Rachel at Queen Vacuum. And if your stick vacuum stinks, is not picking up very well, or is just plain grody, then stick around for some pro tips that you can try to use at home to fix that. P.S. If you have absolutely no intention of doing any of this yourself at home, that is okay. No judgment zone. However, you can consider this your sneak peek behind the scenes of what it's like here at Queen Vacuum, or possibly very similar at a vac shop near you. This is our actual vacuum shop where we do our work. So if you brought your vacuum cleaner in here for service and repair for us to do it, this is the techniques that you can expect us to perform on your machine to get it as clean and working as well as possible. Also, if you happen to be a vacuum shop yourself, stick around and maybe you'll pick up some tips that you can employ at your shop to better serve your customers at home. The example that we're going to be using today happens to be my actual vacuum cleaner, one of them anyway, my Miele Triflex HX1, that it's just time for its spa treatment. The brush roller is getting dirty, the dirt bin is getting kind of gunky, and the filter needs to be deep cleaned or possibly even changed. I know many of you have this vacuum cleaner at home, but the principles to cleaning out this kind of battery operated cordless stick vacuum, because it's bagless, is going to apply to many other vacuum cleaners. You may have a Dyson or a Shark. Cleaning out bagless vacuum cleaners can be a pretty dirty job. Some of the tools that I'm going to show you, some of the techniques, you can employ them at home. I'm going to share with you what I find to be the way to do it the most effectively and the most hygienically. I would not do this in your kitchen by where you prepare food. So follow these principles, and many of them, again, will carry over to other types of vacuums that you might actually have at home. Real quick, before we actually dive into cleaning my vacuum, I wanted to show you the things that are behind me, some of the products and the little tools that have to do with the techniques of how I actually do go about cleaning a vacuum. But if that's totally boring, feel free to skip ahead and you can look at me just diving into tackling the vacuum cleaner itself. I want you just to see them because I think it'll help you pick out some tools that you might have laying around your house that'll make your job so much easier to do at home and more effective. If you're a vacuum shop, some of these tools I recently picked up, and can I tell you what a difference they have made in making cleaning these vacuums so much better and so much easier than the past 20 years. So I hope you'll stick around to look at that. So without further ado, let's hop into that real quick, and then we'll dig into taking this vacuum cleaner apart and getting her all clean and working at 100% once again. Okay, so here we are at my actual workbench, kind of behind the scenes, my cute chair, my nice cozy bench. There is our vacuum subject right there ready to go. And you'll see that I actually have an ancient Miele vacuum cleaner down there. We use a bagged high quality vacuum cleaner to service out all the vacuums we do, especially the bagless ones and stick vacs like these. There's my hose with an assortment of attachments. And the main stuff that I'm going to be using, I keep right at my fingertips. I have general all-purpose cleaner, very diluted. I do keep some disposable wipes for super goopy things where I do want to be able to dispose of it at the end. I don't use much disinfectant, but sometimes we got to do that. This is actually something made by Kirby. It's called Citrus Split, and it's a citrus-based remover for like paint and scuffs and really goopy things. I like to keep small microfiber rags. Now these are on the smaller side, and this is important because, I don't want you using like a nice dish towel for cleaning your vacuum cleaner. I got these at Lowe's. They're really quite small, which is nice to be able to get into small spaces. They're smoother side, and I like this scruffier side, a little bit deeper of a pile, so to speak. But I always have one on hand that is dry and clean, and then I always have another one that is already pre-moistened with just water, and in some cases a little bit of all-purpose cleaner. It is my yucky rag basically for really getting through the slobbery stuff, and then my dry one on hand, obviously dry things off. I recommend having two rags. You do see I have another towel in the back, and that is a little bit of a larger, like a dish towel size thing. In case we have to wash something, I want to lay that down so I keep my workstation clean. I don't want to get it all wet, and then I can dry parts that do need to be washed. And then over here, you'll see some little guys here, but I like having a small scrubby type sponge thing. You can use some kind of little Scotch-Brite dollar store, doesn't matter. And now these get used multiple times, but eventually they do degrade and we'll throw them out. And this is just a piece of a magic eraser. I like to cut them into smaller pieces because they do degrade quickly, and I like to be able to get in to tight spots. The next part is the tools. So let me actually just bring this over here and I'll just show you real quick the main things that we're going to be using. Now, on a vacuum like a Triflex or even like Dyson sticks, you are not going to be needing a screwdriver. There are places that you are not allowed to touch or go into, places like where the motor and electronics are in your cleaner heads. So we use these. You are not allowed to go in there, so please don't do that. But that's why I have them. And needle nose pliers, sometimes that's helpful if we're trying to extract clogs out of deep recesses. I always have scissors, just always have them. More tiny screwdrivers. Now, these are the fun things. So I have an array of toothbrushes. These are just old cast-off toothbrushes. This one is cool because I bent it. And you'll see why that's really handy to have a toothbrush that is at an angle to get into really awkward places. I like to brush out what debris that I can while using the vacuum cleaner's suction to clean certain areas, and you'll see why in a little bit. Moving these aside, this is my new favorite thing. Okay, this was an assortment that I had gotten on Amazon. They're all different shapes and sizes. So this is a little bit of toothbrushy, but it has a top-facing bristle when you're trying to get into certain recesses that are very awkward positions. You can get down in and push straight down, whereas you can't do that with a toothbrush. This little hook is great for snaking out clogs. This little guy is another downward facing bristle. Sorry, these are all already bent, guys. But this one is a little bit angled. You'll notice this also has a great bladed edge. I think this whole kit was $7 or $8. It was under $10. It was great. If I can find out how to link it for you, I will. This is another downward facing brush, but it's very, very skinny, as you can see. And again, there's a little pick side on here. I like that these are very rigid and firm. If you need to like scrape stuff out, you've got a couple different angles and it's firm enough to not bend away. My favorite tool has to be this guy. It's kind of microfibery, and very soft. There is still rigidity going up to the tip, so it's great for getting tight recesses, sweeping around, and it also has a little bit of a scrapey tip. The last tool, it looks mangled, but this is more of like a Scotch-Brite feeling thing. It's more of a scrubber scraper. It's a little harsher than this soft one here, but it too has a scraping end. For no matter what kind of vacuum you have, or even household cleaning, these types of brushes are magic. And when you use these in conjunction with the suction from another vacuum cleaner that you see down here, by utilizing the suction in an area while you're bristling away the dust with one of these brushes, that's a secret to getting stuff loose while it's all still dry. When you start adding water and moisture, in some cases you can compound the problem and you don't want to get like electronics and stuff wet. So whatever you can get out dry is most effective. But using the vacuum cleaner to suck away the little dust cloud that you're making and all the loosened debris is the secret. These loosen the dust, and this takes it away into containment. I'm going to show you one other set of tools that was life-changing for me. Okay, now this is the last set of tools that I'm recommending that I use every single day, all day long, that I'm absolutely have fallen in love with. This is a set of tweezers that I got on Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description. What's amazing about these is that there are 3 different types. Okay. This is somewhat traditional. It is a little bit of a thicker, these are really good size, but it's a thicker tip with a little bit of grippy on it. See that? Really great. In contrast, we have these that are straight and exceedingly pointy. This really, you can see I kind of bent the tip. These are really great. Sometimes you can use this just pinched together to scrape and poke around. You can grip really tiny things, work bits of dust out of really, really tiny places, encourage hair from around bearings, try to dig that out and pull it out. And then this, these are amazing. Same concept as these other really fine tipped tweezers, but we have an angle, and using these really help you get in angles that you would not normally be able to. It's basically a set of at least 3, and these 3 shapes are indispensable. I use all 3 of them almost every single time on almost every single vacuum that we clean in detail. And back to these, I forgot to mention, if you have one of these cheapy little junk drawer, dollar store screwdrivers, this is amazing because, again, you can get in and scrape. You can scrape this way, and you could also take your rags, better so the wet one, and just kind of wrap it up in there and push that around in the casing or other tight spaces and try to wipe away stuff at the same time that you're using this hard surface to scrape. Very last thing is just a pipe cleaner type thing. This came with a set of bottle brushes. What's nice is that it is flexible, so in some cases I will change the shape if I'm trying to snake through hard to reach places, like the angles that go up into a power nozzle. I can bend it back if I'm just trying to work my way through. But it does really catch onto a lot of clogged material and clean its way through in vacuums because most of them do have like corrugated tubing. So you'll see some places where that works really well. And finally, the last tools that I keep on hand for our professional servicing are, 1, my trusty pens. I always keep Sharpies on hand. I have a handy safety razor, just box cutter. And FYI, I color the side that is like the safe side so I don't, accidentally grab the ouchy side. And then is our electrical test meter. And you may not have this at home, and that's okay, but a vacuum store certainly should have this. Vacuums that are coming in that are battery operated stick vacs, obviously they're using batteries. It's important to know what their voltage is. One of the biggest complaints that people are coming in with is that the vacuums not only aren't picking up well, but the runtime is really terrible. And yes, sometimes the servicing can relieve the strain. The vacuum's trying so hard to power through filters that aren't breathing and a brush roller that's not spinning because it's so bound up. And yes, it can drain the battery of energy really prematurely. So we can eliminate that, but it is important still to check the voltage because sometimes the batteries are already in a serious decline. And if they're not within specification, they just do not have enough potential energy to run for any amount of time. And you'll go through all this work and it'll kind of be a waste. Or you can at least know yourself that if you need to buy a new battery for your vacuum, or you can advise your customer to do that. I do keep a little cheat sheet. I know what the voltage is supposed to be on Miele, for instance. The batteries will have writing on them that will tell you what the intended voltage is supposed to be. And again, there is a range. So when these start depleting, you will not have a full run time. So that's really important to take a look at.